I came across this community post that's asking to create, how to create a side menu, and they attached this image here that shows what they have in mind. So when I saw this, I was impressed by it. I was wowed by it, and I wanted to recreate it, and I did. So let me show you what it looks like here. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close, and you can see that if I click on a different sheet or different button, it navigates me to that sheet. So how do we recreate something like this? So what I've done so far is I've created a new app that I'm going to be using for this demo. And in this app, I've created a handful of sheets and added this text box to tell me which sheet I'm on. So if I go to favorites, it's favorites, and topics, it's topics. That's all. So let's go ahead and start recreating that menu. I'll start with creating variables, a couple of the variables that are going to hold the color of the icons that are going to be highlighted when we navigate to the different sheet. So instead of having to hard code that color into every object, I like centralizing things like that, so that if I need to change a color, I would change it in one place and it would be applied to all of the objects that are using that color, instead of having to manually update each color. So that's the first thing. So let's go ahead and create this variable. I'll call vActiveColor would be the first one. Add a short description and a color code, a hex code, with these two quotes in the beginning and at the end. That's important. So these that's going to be giving that nice green color, and I'll create another variable that will hold the inactive color, and I will call that variable vInactiveColor. Very creative, but very straightforward as well. There's no confusion as to what this variable holds, and it's going to hold the hex color for this nice black color. So I'll go ahead and create that. All right, so that's done. Next thing, let's start and create an actual button that users will click on to navigate to different sheets. So I'll go to charts and just grab this generic button. I'll start with the action that should happen and when user clicks on it, and in our case we want to go to a sheet, and this is going to be the very first button, so we'll go ahead and select when user clicks this button, we want it to that user to be navigated to the learn sheet. Next, let's go to the appearance and general, and remove this label, so we're not going to need it. What we're going to have instead is an icon. So for learn, that is going to be, I actually have it here, it's going to be this home icon. So let's go ahead and find it. There it is. Okay, good start. Position doesn't really matter. We can leave it at left for now, and let's go to styling now. So I'll jump to the chart style and make some changes here. So first thing I'm going to do is change the layout behavior from responsive to fixed. That way the icon size is going to stay the same on all screens. This is of course up to you, however you want to set it, but I like to keep nice consistent font size for this icon. Alright, so 24 seems to be nice and good. Maybe it's too small for you, too large, so adjust it as you want, but I'll go with 24. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the font color, because we want it to change, when we're on a learn sheet, we want this to be nice and green, otherwise it's going to be black. So we do that by adding an expression, and within the expression we're going to have to somehow communicate to Qlik Sense when to change the color, and in this case it's going to be when we are on a sheet that this button is made for. So this button is made for learn sheet, but how do we know which sheet we're on? I had to do a little bit of research to find the answer, but it's actually quite simple. So I'll go ahead and add this text and image icon and add a very simple expression to it that's going to tell us the sheet ID. And the expression is this object ID. This is a handy function that can be used for several things, but among those things is finding an ID of a current sheet. So we have to give this function, which object we're looking for. And in this case, we're looking for an object ID of a current sheet. So I'll go ahead and click apply, and you can see this generates the ID of the sheet of the learned sheet. So we can use that for the button. If I go to style right now, and again in charts, font color by expression, I can write this simple expression that says, if we'll do the same object ID sheet function equals the ID of the sheet that we just saw, which is that, we want the color of the icon to be whatever is the active color. Otherwise, we want it to be inactive color. And there we go. Expression is okay. Let's go ahead and click apply. And there you go, it changed to green. Now the last thing I want to change is the background of this button. I don't like it to be this blue. I want it to just be white. There we go. So that's it for this button. Now the next thing we will do is add the text. So notice that this in the navigation menu it has the text. I was looking to see if there's a way to have the text be underneath the icon, but it doesn't look like that's an option. So what I did instead is just added a text object below the button in this object. It's a layout container. So let's go ahead and create a text. The text object that I chose was part of this custom objects. It's text, so I'm going to go ahead and add it here. And I'll simply add learn. Now I want it to be a little bit smaller, so let's go for 14, and I want it to be centered. Then the next thing I want to do is change some things around about this object. So first thing we want to do is we don't want to have an outline. We don't particularly care about corner radius, and the background color should be transparent. There we go. That's that, and so we're good portion through the creation there. And next thing I'll create another text object that's going to be this header for the navigation menu. So again, it's going to be a text object. It'll have learn as the text. It's going to be font size 20 and bold, and I'll add this gray color because I don't want it to stand out too much. It's not really the prominent thing that we want the user to see. Again, no outline, no corner radius, and the background, we want it to be transparent. There we go. And the last thing, we want it to be centered. Now the reason I used this text object instead of just having the header of the layout container is because header is always left aligned or right aligned, but again, there's no way to align it centrally, not that I know of. So there you go. Okay, so we have the main components of the navigation item ready. And last thing I will do is I'll add this layout container here, and let's just go ahead and stretch it out a little bit, and general, let's do navigation menu. We don't need that. So you can see this, it's left aligned, and there's not really a way to change the alignment of that title. So I'll go ahead and disable that, and let's go ahead and start adding these objects. So first I'll start with this one, drop it here, then I'll add the button. No. There we go. And last thing, I'll add the text. Cool. So let's select the container and organize these a little bit. So this one is going to be, I should have checked it before or named it a little bit. So let me go ahead and remove this text and add a title to it. There we go. Text learn. There we go. I don't need to see it. I just need it for the header to know which item it actually is. So there we go. You got that added. Let's go back to the container, and now I know that this text is actually the learn text, and this button is the button. There's no confusion about the button, but there was a little bit of confusion about that text. This one we'll call header learn, and this will be text learn, and this will be button learn. I wanted to add this differentiator because we're going to have several of these text and buttons, and that way it will be easier for me to see which text we're working on. So let's do a little bit of an alignment. The header, the width is going to be 100%. The height, I'll set it to be 4, and let's put this all the way to the left and all the way to the top. There we go. And for the learn text, we want it to be at also with 100, height to be 4, and the all the way to the left, with y being 10. There we go. And now let's do the button next. The button we will want also to be full width. Height, we'll set it to be 8, and all the way to the left, with y-axis being at 4. So that's what it's going to look like. You have the button, you have the text, and you have the header, and that is pretty much it. So let me actually so the important thing here, just so you wouldn't have to recreate this object and get a whole bunch of them, is to add these button and the text to the master items. You don't have to, but I like doing that so that way if I need to use them somewhere else, again, I'll just throw everything that I can to master items. That way I have this one central location where I can manage items, sometimes even if they're not repeated anywhere, just for the sake of practicing. So this would be button learn. I'll go ahead and add expression. Don't really need a description, so I'm gonna go ahead and click add. I'll do the same thing with the text. Add to master item. Add, and this one too. Oh, this is actually a header. Add. There we go. Next thing that I'll do is simply duplicate these objects. So they're all set. I have them how I like them. with transparent styles and a white background for button and learn text. I might just change the appearance of the navigation menu to have this white background, which I think it actually has already. There we go, just in case. And that's it. So I'll speed through this to replicate the rest of the menu items, but that is the idea. So let me go ahead and get this done, and then I'll come back with additional things that we will do once we have copies of these items and have them assigned to each sheet. All right, so there we have, there you go. I've added a button and a corresponding text and set the properties for each object, and now this item is ready and looking good. The last thing I'll do is I will go ahead and add this, the layout container with all of the objects inside it to the master items menu, and I'll have this object added to the rest of the sheets. So right now we're on learn, and look, the learn button is green. It's highlighting that it's active. I'm going to go ahead and add this navigation menu here. Now some favorites. Favorites is active. And let's go ahead and add it to topics. Topics is active. And add it to events. There's events. And last one is the search sheet. There we go. And let's see if it actually works. If I go to learn, it's learn, favorites, topic, events, and search. Great. So there you have it. It's essentially as simple as that. You know, we create a button, a text, a layout container, and add some custom formatting, use variables to centralize. And by the way, you know, if you want to change the color of the active variable to be something else, you know, like this nice shade of blue, you can do that in one place, and now all of them have been updated to use this new shade of blue. So this is what I was talking about when I was saying, like, I like centralizing this shared things, so that way I won't have to change the color for each of the objects. But there you go, a nice navigation menu, in my opinion, much better than this that users can use, and is certainly more intuitive than these navigation buttons. This is fine, but it does take a little bit of learning to see what this chevron symbols mean. You know, discovering that they're actual navigation buttons for different sheets. This, on the other side, on the other hand, is much more intuitive for users to jump between sheets, and it's nice and clean and beautiful. So I like it a lot. So I wanted to create it, share it, show you how to do it yourself if you want to go ahead and create the same menu yourself. There you go. If you find something else that you find interesting in the design and you want to see if I can go ahead and recreate it, or you struggling to find yourself, how to do something and you want to see it done. Drop a comment, let me know what it is, or make a post on Qlik Community and tag me in that post, and I'll do what I can to get that, whatever you're struggling with or whatever you're trying to recreate it.